3 roast potato hacks that are apparently meant to up your roast potato game. We're gonna try microwaving, freezing, and adding a secret ingredient. Frozen roast potatoes. Now, we've all been there. We've got a bag in the freezer. Have we all been there? Maybe I have had a bit of Aunt Bessie's here and there, but frozen roast potatoes, you can get these done ahead of time, and then all you have to do is get them out of the freezer, throw them in the oven. So it's a bit like, what is that? Piss poor preparation prepares for piss poor performance. That's not the right thing, but it's something along those lines. What I've got is some Maris Pipers. They are cut into quarters or chunks, however you want to do them, then parboiled in salted water around 10-15 minutes. So they're still holding their shape slightly. You get them onto a rack, or you can put them onto like a piece of parchment, something like that. But I do find on a tray, on a rack is the best way to do it. I don't know if anyone is like this, but let's say on a Sunday you're making roast potatoes. If you do a massive batch of just the parboiled ones, do this method, so what I'm going to show you, and then the next Sunday you've got them ready. So you can do double, and then you've got them ready in the freezer for the next week, so you don't have to worry about them. I've just got some goose fat here, which is melted down. You could use beef fat, duck fat, goose fat. Clarified butter would work as well. You could put some flavours in it. You could do all sorts, but all you're going to do is pour this over your potatoes bit by bit so it sticks to the outside, and get every single nook, cranny and crevice. Once you put them in the freezer and set them, there is a little bit of fat that's left on the tray. When you come to cook them, you can put a bit of that fat in the tray, but you can actually reuse that fat one more time onto another batch of potatoes if you want to. Turn these over so that we get every angle of potato. Not only is this like a hack to kind of make your life easier, potentially future you in a few Sundays time, but I think freezing the potatoes actually might make them better. I did sorted. I love sorted food, by the way. If you like YouTube and like food, you probably already know who they are. But Ben Ebrel, he actually did a roast potato where he put it in the freezer. I don't think he could do it until they were completely set, but just until they were completely cooled down. And I believe that helps get you a crispier exterior, because if you go down the thought process of when you cook meat, so like a steak or chicken or fish, you dry it out as much as possible. So when you cool them and dry them, they cool them and freeze them, they get super dry, so they should get even crispier. So it's convenient and hopefully even better. Goose fat covered potatoes going into the freezer. Here's one I made earlier, okay guys? These are fully frozen, like they are, like they're frozen potatoes. So these are going to go into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius with the fan on. I always say that, but I think most conventional ovens now are just fan anyway. Irrelevant. They're going in the oven. These have had half an hour. I'm going to give them a turn over and then get them back in at 200 degrees Celsius for a further 20 minutes. But beautiful colour on them. Like it's a subtle golden brown, which is what we like. They smell delicious as well. So back in the oven, 200 degrees Celsius, 15-20 minutes. Ooh, look at them. They look a bit of all right, don't they? They've got a nice outside, nice exterior. That looks good. I'm going to put some on a plate, just to be a bit civilised. It's not like me, is it? Oh. I love roast potatoes. Okay, so let's go for this one. Looks like a strawberry, but it's a potato. What? I was about to say up yours, but it isn't. Cheers. Is it up yours? No. Bottoms up is what I'm trying to say. Bottoms up. Oh, God. That is delicious. It's got a really crunchy outside. Considering we're pouring fat over them, they're not greasy in any way, shape or form, which is lovely. So it gives you this very crisp outside, which then also melts quite deliciously. So freezing them, covering them in fat, I think really does give you a very good hack. I like this hack. In fact, you could batch cook some of these, is great. It's so soft. The potato inside is so fluffy. I never want to give anything 10 out of 10 because I worry that you can always strive for perfection. But Freezing your potato in fat and then cooking them is going to have a 9.7 out of 10. So 9.7 out of 10. That's pretty delicious. I've said it before and I will say it again, please. If you want to and you like potatoes and everything to do with potatoes and meat and just cooking in general, I know it's dark, Jamie, just deal with it. Can you like and subscribe and hype now, which is fun, and follow and just all of that sort of stuff. Okay, thank you, love you, bye. This method is the microwave method. Now, I've never tried this before, but I saw Shalina Cook's TikTok where she basically puts potatoes into a microwave safe dish or like lunchboxy container into the microwave 10 minutes to let them steam, and apparently you get these lovely crispy fluffy potatoes. Oh, we do have to then cook them after the microwave, but let's see how these cook in the microwave. Microwaved, these have had 10 minutes in the microwave. Weirdly, mine have for some reason got some colour on them, but they're nice and soft. And now we give them a little bit of, I don't know what that is, a bit of rough and tumble. A bit of rough and tumble, a bit of a toss. Oh God, was that too much? No, that's fine. Was that too much? Yay, there we go. Actually, you can see this bit that's like smashed up is the starch. Starchy bit gets nice and crunchy. So I'm happy with those. Now, this is like a 2-in-1 hack because the rest of the recipe, Shalina actually does it in the air fryer. And I love me an air fryer. So these go in at 180 degrees Celsius in the air fryer for 30 minutes. Into the air fry basket, we've got the potatoes. Get all them bits out there, incredible. We go in oil, bit of thyme. I just crushed some cloves of garlic, just with the skin on and everything. So if you leave the skin on, it leaves them protected a little bit so they're not going to burn. Well, they shouldn't burn. And then a good, oh bloody hell, a good sprinkling of salt. And then into the air fryer. One more drizz. Air fryer's just gone off, so let's have a look. Oh my goodness, they look great. The garlic smells delicious. Now, this roast potato from start to finish is 40 minutes. 10 minutes in the microwave. So that's the hack is putting them in the microwave. I just wanted to follow Shalina's recipe just so that we got the full effect. But again, air fryer roast potatoes are also probably a hack in itself, really. Let's get a sexy shot of these. They look good. There's a nice crisp on them. They have gone quite golden, but I am pretty sure the potatoes that we use, they seemed quite sugary, but there's nothing that I can do about it really. It's kind of, it is what it is. Potatoes grow, sometimes they have more sugar, sometimes they don't. Anyway. They're good. They are fluffy inside. The fact that they're done in 40 minutes is a triumph. We love that. And they've got a good crunch. That is quite a good hack, especially like midweek meal. You know, you just want to get dinner out. The microwave hack, I was surprised, but that's a solid 8 out of 10. It's convenient, easy, and does exactly what it says on the tin, roast potato. Now this is a method of doing your roast potatoes using bicarbonate of soda or sodium bicarbonate. I think it's the same thing. Where into the water when you're cooking, parboiling your potatoes, you add some bicarb. Now in professional kitchens, you do this to leafy greens or vegetables, anything but kind of like broccoli. I did it to broccoli once and just the little nubbins at the end all just completely disintegrated into the water. Just adding a bit of salt. So the idea about putting the bicarb in is that actually it's going to interact with the starch and stuff in the potato, not the starch, but the potato itself to break down the outside even more. So you get this really fluffy exterior. I believe that's what because I'm a scientist, that's what I think is the whole purpose of it. These are also Maris Piper potatoes. So in the UK we use Maris Pipers. I love a Maris Piper. In the US I always suggest a russet potato personally. So they're going to go on to parboil, and I like to parboil my roast potatoes for Once it comes up to a boil around 15, 20 minutes, so they are nice and soft, so they get a nice crispy exterior. We might not have to do it as long with the bicarb in there, so I'm gonna keep an eye on it and I'll make sure I let you know the timings. They've had about 15 minutes or 20 minutes boiling. They're nice and soft. They're starting to just flake apart, so I'm gonna get them drained. Weirdly, the bicarb potatoes do smell a bit different, and I don't know why. It must be some sort of chemical reaction, but I can't put my finger on it. It almost smells like pastry. We're just gonna leave them there just to chill a little bit, just kind of do their own thing. Whilst those potatoes are drying off, in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius fan, I put in a tray of just plain oil, vegetable, sunflower, anything like that. And then these go on. I've got to say, they look different to boiled potatoes, but, oh. Well, that was anticlimactic. It should sizzle, but I have had this tray out for a little bit chatting about. So just get them tossed in the oil, and then they're going back into the oven, 180 degrees Celsius fan, half an hour, turn them over, maybe another 10, 15 minutes. We'll have a look. So the bicarb potatoes are looking delicious, actually. They seem to be getting a lot of nice colour. Give them a little turnover. Ooh, ooh, ooh la la. And then back into the oven for the final bit of cooking. I don't think we need to turn the oven up for them, you know. We'll see. I'm gonna do 180 for another 15, 20 minutes. Ooh, they've got some fantastic colour on them. These are looking good. They're looking good. Oh, that looks nice. This big boy as well. I've got to say, they're quite oily. Can you see all the kind of like ridges that are in there? They look great. That's going to hopefully give you extra crispiness. Okay, wasn't what I was expecting, to be honest with you. Anyway. I mean, it tastes a bit like chestnut or parsnip. They're quite sweet. I think these potatoes are naturally quite sweet, but doesn't take away from the fact that you have got quite a crispy exterior. So they're not like crispy, like, they're more like flaky and tender. Has it changed the flavour? Because they do taste different. Maybe it has changed the flavour a little bit. I think for me, the bicarb hack doesn't really cut it. I don't think it's done too much different than, I kind of just prefer a classic roast potato. I don't mind it. I don't think I need to do it. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. It's not tickling my fancy, but it's also not pulling it off, if you know what I mean, or offending it. I don't know what the opposite of tickling my fancy would be. To summarise our 3 roast potato hacks, in last place is the bicarb in the parboiling water. I don't think it actually needs it. I think actually probably better just doing a classic roast potato without the bicarb. In second place is Shalina's microwaving and air frying. Really good, convenient and easy. And I was surprised actually how quickly a potato microwaves and gets cooked. And in first place is freezing your potatoes once they've been parboiled in a bit of fat, because they are near perfection. Oh God, stop. That is so good.